281 votes. That's the unofficial difference between Senator Chuck Winder possibly extending his already longest serving senator status into the 9th term, and him being the first sitting Senate President pro tem to lose that position in a primary. Winder, who represents a sliver of West Boise and a notch of North Meridian, lost to challenger Josh Kaiser by 281 votes. Senator Winder has been in public service and politics for decades, elected to the Senate in 2008, elevated to leadership in 2010, but that was all but eliminated in what was, without a doubt, the biggest upset of yesterday's election. This morning, Senator Winder sat down with us to talk about the result of that race and his time in the Senate. He wanted to thank his supporters in what was District 14 and is now District 20 for their support the past 16 years. Winder was a bit tired this morning, having stayed up way past midnight to catch the results and then getting up, like always, at 4:30 a.m. to start his day. But mostly, he was just as surprised as anyone with the outcome.
Oh yeah, it was a shocker to me. You know, I knew that it would probably be a close race because, one, it wasn't a presidential primary, so you don't get quite the same turnout. The party itself was out promoting my opponent, which they don't normally do in a primary. They're normally neutral. So there were just a lot of things going on, I think. You know, my opponent, worked hard. He was out walking neighborhoods and talking to people and while we were in session. So I think there were a lot of factors that went into it.
What else made the difference, do you think?
Well, I think there's lots of things. Obviously, the amount of money that came into, the race from the Young Americans for Liberty and Make Liberty Win group. But I think they probably spent, $200,000, maybe $250,000 to defeat me. But I think it's hard to, once people get the idea that was projected that, I was the swamp king, that I was, opposed to, Second Amendment rights and all that I was a big spender, it's tough to get that out of people's mind. And they had their message out there, for a month or so before we were able to even get into the market.
So just too little, too late?
Too little, too late, I think.
Would you look at your race and say it's like either a microcosm of the way things are going in either the GOP or Idaho politics?
Both. I think they were able to pick me off with using a lot of out-of-state money, really ugly, dirty politics in their promotions. So I think, unfortunately, since they were able to pick me off, it'll probably be easier now to say, okay, well, give us more money to do this in our state, and we'll knock some of these other guys off. I mean, they came close to getting the speaker. And I think, as our parties narrowed down the primary process, that's hurt what I would consider a true conservative approach, but it's because it's easier for the far right and the far left to have a lot of passion, and the people in between really don't get energized very much. I think the turnout hurt. I think the fact we didn't have a presidential primary tied to the regular primary hurt the turnout, and I think that hurts, the more traditional Idaho conservative.
Do you leave with good thoughts about politics and Idaho and the State House and what goes on here?
Well, I leave here with the fact Idaho's a great state, has great people. Nobody's indispensable, no one's irreplaceable. So I think there are good people here that'll still do good things for the state of Idaho.
Senator Winder told us he wishes more good people would get involved in politics, maybe run for office. As for his plans post-term, he plans to stay involved in local politics, help out anyone he can. He will continue to serve on several boards. He'll focus on his ministry work and spend more time with family, like watching his grandkids play sports and compete in karate. Oh yeah, he will also now have his winters back. So Senator Winder, at the age of 78, hopes to get back into skiing, he told us, something he hasn't been able to do in a dozen years or so. So keep an eye out for him on the slopes at Bogus next season.